2026. Everyone's going to park in the right spot and no one's going to climb on the wet rock. No classics are going to break. Everyone's going to get the right brush. Nobody's going to get hurt. Nobody.
I love the optimism.
No pulleys popping, no hamstrings, no knees, no shoulders. It's going to be smooth sailing.
I just knocked on some wood for us.
That is some 2026 energy I can get behind. Welcome to the Testpiece podcast. This podcast is about all things high-level climbing. How to go from good to great. I'm your host, Joshua Horsley. I've been climbing for over 30 years. We recently updated our Patreon, and now you get exclusive content from the guests that you love. You get your episodes before everyone else, and they're ad-free. Try it out now at patreon.com/testpiece with a free 7-day trial. Okay, let's start the show. Good Temps, Carlo Traversi, Will Anglin, Austin Hoyt, me, Josh Horsley, 2026. The crew is back together. Good to see you, boys. Really good to see you. Really good to start out the year with you guys.
Yeah, happy to be back.
We're back.
Austin, you are in your truck. You are in Bishop. Are you in Bishop still?
Still, yep.
Okay. I thought you were going to get pulled into the valley. Carlo, didn't you just, send out the bat signal and have Austin come for some crimpy projects out there?
Yeah, nobody has come this year. Actually,
that's not true.
Sean Rabitu came. But yeah, it's been light for sure. So
What you already did what you wanted to do in Bishop.
Yeah.
Get out of there, man.
I'm trying to convince Adam to go. He's here, so I'm trying to, I'm chipping away at him to go to the valley. That's long term.
The weather just shifted in the valley. Like, it had pretty bad rains the last, week or so, and a little bit of snow, but it just shifted and it looks like the 10-day is like just splitter. So, and, I think things will be dry and like pretty much everything will be dry within the next day or two. So, I was there yesterday. So
I might come next week then, maybe.
No, I'm going to come to Bishop next week, Austin. I'm going to see you in Bishop next week.
I'll stay here, and then after you come, I'll go to the valley. There we go.
Carl, did I just saw Aiden put up that, was it Bee's Knees? Did that just happen recently? Is the weather that good that you guys are up there? Were you out there for that FA?
I think that I wasn't there, but I think that was like 3 or 4 weeks ago at this point. So it's a little while ago. But yeah, actually, I feel like I've seen that project before in Bridal Veil, but I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, I don't remember where it is. Like, obviously it's not like super like in the circuit of stuff. So, I haven't tried it. It's not something that was on my like project radar. I don't think it's been really tried that much. I think it was something that maybe Randy played around on. But don't quote me on it, but it's not like a long time, well-known project or something like that. I think it was something that Randy might have had in his back pocket and then was just like, oh yeah, let's go try this one today. So, but the projects list is like endless. So
I went out there with Randy and probably Beth was there too. And my buddy Max Zolatukin, Anson and Mark Heel. And we tried it probably like 10 years ago. It is not that far off, like from Bridal Veil. I think, yeah, I think people have tried over the years, but funny story. Max pulled on, there was like a jug. Yeah, there's like a boulder next to it. You could kind of pull on midway. Max pulls on and just fully commits and rips off a giant flake. And there's an amazing video of him just landing flat on his back from like halfway up. I got to pull that out. But, so yeah, been tried, but dude, I know that there's so many amazing projects in Yosemite. That one was pretty. It was a little chossy, I'm not gonna lie. It needed Max cleaned it up. But yeah.
Well, you got more history on it than I do then. Yeah. Just goes to show though, with the amount of stuff that's there, it's like, it's easy to miss things, so I don't know all of them, there's a lot out there.
Austin, you should definitely cruise out there because you did the process. You did your big goal of the season. And I don't even know what you're doing out there. You did it a while ago. You're just hanging out. Congrats, man. I know how psyched you were on that.
Yeah, congrats, Austin. That's sick.
Thanks, guys. I'm pretty damn psyched.
Yeah, it sounds like it went pretty quick too, huh?
It was this year it didn't put up much of a fight. Like, it didn't put up much of a fight. It was mostly just a mental thing, it seemed like. Yeah.
Nice work, dude.
That picture of you is incredible on it, and I like how you called out that there's like, now you have a great picture of yourself, but you also in your bedroom had Daniel on it with that also iconic picture. Just kind of weird. Was it just right above you? Did you just go to sleep at night looking at Daniel Woods? Just
as weird as it sounds, that is exactly what I did. I laid in bed, looked up, and I was like, damn, look, it's the process.
That's awesome, dude.
This probably dates me, but I think I had like a Britney Spears poster above my bed.
That's like equal celebrity status. Daniel Woods, Britney Spears. Same thing.
Well, I love seeing you guys all just cruising around Bishop, revitalizing a bunch of the old ones. I love seeing you guys do Mandala Direct. I thought I saw you on, what was that, like Butter Pumper and
Butterfingers.
Butterfingers.
Did you guys do it?
Has anyone done it?
Adam got really close. I think he's going to try it again today. Have you tried it?
That thing is so savage, man. I have tried it quite a bit. I tried it with Dan Beal a few days, like years ago. And then I actually tried it maybe 2 or 3 years ago again, just because I was curious. And I was like, damn, this thing is nails. Like,
oh, yeah, it's savage. There's like a little 2-finger tooth crimp thing we're using instead of like these slopey dishes, and it bites.
I bet.
Although I had a funny thought about Bishop recently where I feel like back in the day, Waco was like the stomping ground, and I feel like Bishop kind of changed to the new like mecca stomping ground of bouldering now, for at least Americans. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I'm curious to hear what you say.
It seems busy these days. There's a lot of people out there.
Busier than Waco.
Yeah. Well, I had a comment on that because you caught some flack where people were like making fun of Bishop in a particular Discord and saying it wasn't great. And you went and did the process, and no one like said negative things about that. But I was just thinking, like, is there a doper V16 in the world? Or like, it has to be in the running for the coolest climb of that grade. And this is why Bishop still is a great stomping ground. Is there are some just magnificent hard lines that what could be doper than the process at V16?
I mean, as far as the line is concerned, I mean, yeah, it's pretty tough to beat.
I can agree with Will too. I mean, even Keenan was trying it yesterday just for fun, and he's pretty picky, and he was like, dude, this is really fun to try. He was like, if it wasn't glued, it would be amazing, but he was a little bummed about the glue, but he was still having a lot of fun on it. And I think that says a lot because he's picky.
My only complaint about that problem, it really is like, it's not even just that like it's reinforced with glue. It's just that the crimp like is glue at this point.
Yeah.
It's literally like crumbled up pieces of rock that have been glued to the wall. And like Spectre's been reinforced with glue, and that's like one level of gluing, you know, and like obviously I think it's good that that jug is still on the wall. But with the process, like seeing it break so many times and get re-glued, it's like, it feels a little bit like a Frankenstein boulder. And I think that's the only thing that really takes away from it, in my opinion. Like, I think the rest of it is incredible. Like, the line is as good as it can possibly get in bouldering, just straight up, you know, the underside of one of the most iconic boulders, maybe the most iconic boulder like ever, the Grandpa Peabody. And yeah, but I think it's a good like reminder that like, almost every problem out there has like a little bit of an asterisk kind of always, in terms of like the line isn't perfect, or like you can climb out of it this way. Like, there's very, very few that are just literally like perfect rock, perfect line, perfect everything, you know? Like, I always thought Dreamtime was really good in that way, but now it's like a spray wall. Like,
it's like a link up cave.
yeah, like, yeah, exactly. Like, it's almost like a bummer to watch, you know, because it used to be so like just singular, and now it's kind of a bit of a mess, you know. But and I see that the stuff in Red Rocks too is kind of becoming that way, like linking up stuff, people trying to link things and things. But I do think that's what's cool about the process, is that it does feel very singular. And
I think it matters, like it makes things more iconic when you have those movements and those pictures like that. Dude, that swing out movement, and now with that kind of 360 campus beta too, and just, I don't know, man. Like, I also think there's something special about boulders that you kind of have to walk by on the way to other boulders, and you just walk by it, and, you know, you're young, you're on your way to do Sunshine Slabs. Like, it's your first V0. Finally, you're doing High Plains Drifter at V7, but every day you walk by it, and every day you come out and you see people trying the big boy stuff, and you're like, someday. And Austin, that was your day. You did it, man.
I appreciate it. And I think, just to add on a little bit, I think the coolest thing about the process to me was, like, for Lucid, I was very like kept to myself. I was like, I only need 2, 3 pads to try it. I don't need a big crew, whatever, right? And when there was a big crew, I wouldn't go out and try it because it would like mess with me. And then as I matured, I got a little better at climbing with big crews and dealing with it. And like, that's how it is. It's okay. It's going to happen. And then going into it this year, I was like, I think part of the process is going to be like making friends and getting pads and being okay with the big crews. And like the day I did it, there was like a huge crew. There was so many people recording me, like, and people were psyched and people brought pads. Like one of my friends, Ryan, brought like 10 pads for me. It was like a full legend. I was like, it was literally going to be impossible without him. And I made so many new friends, like projecting this boulder, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
That's like pretty much the same experience when we first started trying the line was like that first year that Dan and I were trying it. When people kind of would catch wind of what we were working on, it was like end of the day, we were there trying it and everyone would just be leaving the buttermilks and would just come give their pads. And so we'd have this massive, and it was cool to just at the end, you know, you could complain about there being basically like an amphitheater of people watching, but you're also like, well, everyone kind of contributed to like making this feel like safer and more attainable. And so like it kind of became a part of the whole like, you know, day. It was like end of the day, everyone comes down and throws a pad in the pile and we go nuts on it. And then that's it. Everyone grabs their pads and we go home, you know, and try again the next day. And I agree. I think it's cool. It's kind of a rare experience in that way, but you do have to like start to appreciate like there were days where there were like 60 people watching us try it. You know, it was like crazy the amount of people that were like just hanging out, you know, being like, what is this thing? You know, but it was cool. I enjoyed it. I agree. Usually I'm more of like a solo climber, but I thought that particular experience was just like rare and kind of cool. So, and it sounds like it's still carrying on that way, which is awesome.
Yeah, certainly.
You made a comment there where you said something about having a bunch of people watching, recording, not being on your own, having that pressure of like the pads are here. What's it like being more of a professional or recognizing I have to execute now? Like, you know, there's pads here, the weather's good, because it's something that is never talked about by professional climbers where oftentimes, you know, you're on a trip or something and you have these windows and it must be weird having someone sitting there on a rope with a camera in your face while you're trying to do your best and also like not die at the same time.
It's funny. I have felt like that before, but in this particular instance, I definitely didn't even feel like that because I felt so prepared and I felt like I was ready to do it. And I knew if I just climbed it well, I would do it. So after I warmed up, I literally just pulled on the wall. The moment I did the first move, I already knew I was like in my head, I said, oh, I'm doing it right now. Just how it felt. And I think I was just so focused. I didn't even think about anything else. It's funny. You mentioned like the 360 beta at the top too. This is a little bit of a tangent, but when I stuck the lip, I like was gearing up to do it. And then I got a little too scared to do it. So I like put my foot back on the wall and just did it the normal way. And then I was so numb up there when I reached for like that 6mm crimp at the slab. I had to I ticked it luckily on the rope earlier and I had to watch myself place my pointer finger and then crawl my other fingers on top to make sure I was like actually grabbing it because I was like, I know how it feels, but I can't feel. So
off the deck too. That's, I mean, you don't want to blow that send, but you don't want to fall right there.
Yeah. But back to the original question, I think, how do you deal with it, right? When you know you need to do it? I think honestly, just being as prepared as possible is the best thing you could do. Like give yourself the best chances. And it's easier said than done. Like all of last season, it was like that for me where I would show up and I'd have like 5 people supporting me and get to the last move and not do it. And I would be like, sorry guys, like maybe next time, but there's nothing you could do about it. It's part of the game. It's part of the process. Sorry. Shit. I missed it.
Part of the process. Well, you could have said part of the game too. That also makes sense based on the naming. Will, getting any FOMO, from this? Does this, make you feel any better about your finger injury? How's it going over there?
It's fine. I'm climbing again, which is good. I got this sweet splint on and I've been getting out a lot actually, because climbing outside is the least risky on it, you know? Yesterday was my first day back on the board and my forearms are blasted. I climbed for 15 minutes. It's crazy. Like the difference between like V10 outside and V6 on a board is crazy.
Did you like make that splint, Will? Like, is that like your 3D printed? Did you like, how did you even come up with it?
This is from a hand therapist in Boulder. It's a different kind than I've had seen before. Parts of it worry me. Parts of it are sweet. I don't know. TBD. But it has allowed me to, like get out, which has been awesome. I'm super psyched. Hopefully 6-ish more weeks and I should be feeling better. Not obviously like fully in shape, but like, I won't be going to Bishop.
Do you guys feel like there is just a long ways to go in finger everything for climbing in the next 10 or 20 or 50 years? I feel like there's always this, it's got to be the most complex structure, one of the most complex structures in our body, like the hand, and then how it connects. I know I've heard, this sounds like a tangent, but it's not. Like there's a lot of work on robotic hands, and they're always trying to mimic the human hand. And they just keep saying how difficult it is, just how incredible our hand structure is. And, and when I say hand, it goes, all those tendons cross at the elbow and everything. And I don't know, it just feels like we have a long ways to go, and climbers are clearly world-class in hands. I can't imagine any sport that utilizes them like we do. And so, just hopeful that when my kids have a pulley injury that they know exactly how to recover it, because it still seems like there's some hand waving, no pun intended, and just kind of like, good luck. Like maybe you should put some wax on it or something. I don't know.
Rest.
Yeah. I mean, hands are insane. I think even though in like the last 5 years, I feel like there's a lot better information out there about the different kinds of injuries and what to do and how to diagnose them. Certainly from a diagnostic side, I feel like there have been a lot of improvements in the last handful of years. And I imagine that'll continue, or especially people's access to that level of diagnostic, I think is gonna improve over the next couple of years. But as far as like treatment is concerned, you're not trying to have surgery on your hand if you can help it. The scar, there are just so many like secondary issues that come up if you do something like that. There's collateral damage that happens if you're getting a knee surgery or a shoulder or whatever. And I feel like it's sort of exacerbated in the hands because of the complexity and everything. So at the end of the day, like the body just has to heal, and it's more about protecting it and load management and all of that, and kind of getting back into it. So, I mean, I hope at some point there's something that really can expedite that healing process or improve the quality of the healing. There's nothing on my radar at this point that I've seen that seems promising in that regard. There's some snake oil out there for sure. But as far as like, robust interventions other than protecting it, I've not seen anything crazy on the horizon.
Step 1, 2, and 3 is don't get injured. And then per Dr. Carlo, it's then climb while injured until you're not injured anymore, and just, go for it. So, shows you got some good genetics there, Carlo. Dr. Carlo just can break his finger and just keep going. Okay, you guys, big media, not me, but the big media this month was leaked or announced, or maybe this came out before, but it's happening this month. Mr. Alex Honnold is climbing a building, not rock wall, but building, Taipei 101. It's a big, tall building. It's going to be live on Netflix, which I don't know, kind of has like a throwback to like Evel Knievel jumping the Grand Canyon or doing like some Las Vegas thing. And Alex, friend of the pod, friend of all you guys, I don't know, I'm kind of psyched. Like this is classic Alex, where he's just psyched to climb. And I had some interaction with a Instagram account that I'm blanking on the name, but very like anti-gamification of climbing, which I understand and agree with. And they made a post, something like, how could a person who wanted to climb El Cap look at this building and also want to climb that? And it just didn't make sense to them. And I just pulled out the classic Sir Edmund Hillary quote, because it's there.
Yeah, I don't know. Why not? It's
Why
probably
not?
super soft, first of all.
Super soft.
Like, he's going to get paid a bunch of money. And, like, why the hell not? Whatever. It's not like, whatever.
I talked to Alex about it this fall or whatever. Or I talked to him about it, I think this summer as well, but he gave me a little bit more info because I was just curious about the whole thing. And I mean, I love Alex's approach to stuff because it's usually just like, oh, yeah, it sounds fun. Fuck it. Why not do it? Like that's kind of his approach, and it's like, it's funny seeing all the armchair experts of like on the internet, just like bashing it or being like this and this and this. And it's just kind of like, I mean, he got offered a cool opportunity and he's going to take it because he can do it. And there's not a lot of people that can do it. And, like, why not? He's going to get paid well. It seems he's psyched on it. Seems fun. He's like, yeah, it seems fun. He's like, if someone was like, I'm going to pay you a lot of money to like solo a building that would be cool to solo. And like, you'd probably take it. And he's like, feels pretty comfortable and confident. He did tell me that the climbing is probably around the 512 level, which is
Oh, wow.
a lot
Shit.
harder than I was expecting.
Whoa.
It's not that chill, and it's overhung a lot of it.
Fuck.
Okay, that changes everything.
Yeah, it's not he's been training. He's doing like a 6 to 8 week training block leading into it, and he was doing a bunch of soloing I think in the valley this fall, kind of prepping for it, like big routes, just trying to do like a lot of volume. But yeah, he's on like a pretty significant training block, I think, right now in preparation for it. He takes these things seriously. Like he doesn't just like, oh yeah, I'll just go do it, whatever, So I think he already scoped it, and then he's going to train for it and then do it. And I think he's, it's not easy. The one thing that it helps it is that it's got breaks. So like there's balconies like every couple hundred feet, I think. And so you'll do like a overhanging section, and then you'll go onto a balcony, and then you'll basically like walk on the balcony to the next section. So I think it is broken up a bit compared to like 512 for however many feet, like what it's like over 1,000 feet, even more. So that'd be a lot.
Is he getting to like try it at all before that day?
I think he's climbed some sections of it. I don't know if he's climbed all of it, but yeah, he knows what the kind of the process is. And it has been climbed by Alain Robert, like I think years ago. He did it on a top rope. And so it has been climbed, but it hasn't been soloed. So, it's cool. I mean, I think with Alex, like generally, I think he has a really good approach to these types of things. And I think he just took the opportunity and was like, yeah, let's just go have fun with it. So I think it's cool. Whatever. It's not climbing. It's not like rock climbing, it's not like soloing El Cap, but it's a cool thing to do. So.
Yeah. I'm glad he's taking it seriously. No one wants to see him go splat.
Yeah.
I know he's considered no big deal, but Alex is very smart, very calculated, and very on top of staying in shape. And I mean, I climbed with him this summer a bit, and like he was in really good shape, and he was training a lot. Like
he just did 9A.
Yeah. And I hadn't been training much this summer, and I went and jumped in on his training program one day, and it like destroyed me. Like I was sore for days afterwards, but mainly because he was having me do like one-legged squats, and like he was doing like 10 of them, but he was like cranking out one arms, and like, I mean, he was in good shape. Like I think more than anything, I'm just impressed with how much attention and energy he puts into like just staying at a really, really high level. And yeah, it's not like the world standard of like bouldering or whatnot, but just his general fitness is extremely high, and he puts a lot of attention on it, and it's cool to see. So this doesn't feel sloppy to me. This doesn't feel underprepared.
That's cool to hear, because I was a little scared hearing about it for the first time ever. I was like, yeah, I feel like it's fair, but that's cool.
I mean, it's all scary for sure. It's soloing,
The fact that it's 512 changes everything in a whole bunch of ways. Like all of a sudden now it does make sense why he's psyched to do it, where I kind of just had this thought like, oh, it's probably like 5'6". He's just psyched to like, climb something that you could never do unless you had a permit, like it would be illegal. So he's just like, yeah, that sounds dope. Like, but 512 means it's engaging, and it also makes me like a little, I don't know. It's wild that this is live streamed, man. Like that's really crazy, Oh, we just lost Austin for a sec. Yeah. Maybe
this should be good. My grandma tried calling me.
Oh, grandma. We should keep that in. Grandma, I'm on good temps. I'm talking about Alex Honnold free soloing. No, do not answer unless you can just invite her in.
No, should be good. Should be good.
She'll be watching probably. But yeah, dude, it is so crazy that he could fall though. And this is live stream. I don't know. Like there's something like really intense about that whole thing. I don't know. I don't know if I want to watch it. Like, I remember watching Free Solo and being like, this is crazy to watch, and I know he doesn't fall. And I left just kind of feeling, I mean, I guess that's what they're looking for. I guess that's the entertainment part, and that's where people, the armchair experts, are giving him shit, but they don't realize that just the subjective thing of Alex is probably like, this is dope, let's do it. Like, yeah, so I feel like I had to bring it up just because that's big news. That's the climbing world going mainstream in a very strange way, but I always believe Alex is one of our best ambassadors. So I'm happy to support him wherever he chooses to do.
Yeah, I'm stoked for Alex. So it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch.
Okay, on the complete other end of the spectrum, a very, very not tall boulder, Noah Wheeler flashed brass knuckles, V14. And yes, V14 seems to get flashed all the time these days. I think the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I really like Noah Wheeler, but also because he said, I had a lot of margin. And it's just a wild thing to hear. I don't know. Like, and you guys know Noah, he's not braggadocious. He's not trying to tell everyone how great he is. He's just like, wow, like I did it with a lot of margin. And I haven't seen that boulder. He mentioned it was board style. I was hoping one of you guys had seen it or tried it. It's in the south. It's in Dayton. Is that right?
Laurel Snow. Yeah. So interestingly, I climbed on it with Jimmy back when it was like a V11 that we did, one day, and it broke. And then it got done after the break by Zach Gala and a lot broke. It wasn't just like one hold broke and it became a different problem. It was like quite a bit of holds broke on it. But yeah, it was originally put up, I think, as like an 11. I was back there in like 2009, I think it was. So yeah, coming up on, 17 years ago or something. So I have photos of me like on that wall, like way back then. I think I was like 18 or 19 years old or whatever. And I was just like, I thought this thing was like V11. And I talked to Jimmy about it. He's like, oh no, a bunch of shit broke. And like, now it's a lot harder, obviously. So, but a cool wall. It's right next to, it's on the same, as long as I'm thinking of the same thing, it's on the same wall, I think, as that roof climb,
River Dance, right?
River Dance or something. Yeah. So it's just on the left side of that wall.
Noah seems like he's on one right now too, just in general, because I mean, without giving too much away, he did a hard thing in PA too. So I think he's feeling pretty crimpy.
I believe there was plenty of margin for him.
Yeah.
that doesn't surprise me. I also, having talked to guys who've done that boulder, I do not think that it is soft. It's even when you're capable of something, it's very impressive to like be able to actually actualize and execute on that. But yeah, I very much believe that he did that and was like, oh, that could have been a good bit harder and still would have done it.
He's a really good flasher.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, it's tough to kind of define board style. I think in general, like the fact that wall is relatively flat, and you're kind of just gripping the grips. I guess that's what he means. And if the boulder problem revolves around holding on to the holds and it's bit like, Noah's just going to do it. I've said it
not even close,
on a number of occasions over the years at this point. Like I've seen a lot of people with strong fingers and I've never seen anybody like Noah. It's fun to watch.
I had a really interesting conversation with him one day where I told him because I was just driving and thinking about like how good he is at doing the hard moves, right? Because he said the burden first move wasn't that bad for him, but the Shaolin jump to the slot felt harder. So the conclusion I came to was Noah's threshold for hard moves, if they're not low percentage, is almost infinite. The only way a hard move stops him is if it's low percentage.
So what do you mean then, Austin, that he's a good flasher? Why do you say that? Why do you think he is such a good flasher?
I think literally because he can hold on to anything if he needs to. Like he can hit a hold bad, hit it with 2 fingers and then hold it and keep moving if he needs to. Like his strength threshold versus like the climbs he tries, it just doesn't match up. I think his strength threshold is up here and the climbs he tries are down here. And I think everyone has something that keeps them mortal. I don't know what Noah's is per se, but it's definitely not that.
I got to be honest, this one just didn't strike me as like that. I mean, not to say that it isn't impressive, but it didn't like jump out at me as like, oh my God, that's crazy. Just because like watching videos of a lot of these guys, including Noah, like I don't know Noah. I think I've maybe have climbed around him once, like at the Jade Wall or something like that, but very, like not much. But I've seen videos of what these guys do on the boards specifically, and I've tried those climbs, and I think that's obviously what makes the boards cool, is that like I see the video of them and I can just go try it and be like, that's fucked up. I can't even touch that, you know? And so just knowing like what the level is like on the boards and how easily they do certain things, when I see them flash like a board style or relatively simple finger strength based climb outside, like I see so many people, like, you know, like I'll find board problems that like have 200 descents, and I'm like, this is like, I know V14s that are easier than these sometimes, you know, like I know of very simple V14s, and I'm like, I feel like these guys could just be flashing these things like pretty regularly if they just put the right attention to it with the right conditions and just like actually just try to, you know? So for me, like, and I'm not trying to say that it's not impressive. I think it shows how high the level is when I say that, not to like take away from his like his abilities and strengths and stuff. Obviously you have to go do it, and there aren't a lot of people doing it. I mean, there are more now than ever, but it just didn't strike me as one where I was like, oh man, this one stands out. You know, there's other boulders I feel like that maybe aren't graded as hard that I'm more impressed by with flashes, because there's a lot more nuance to the body positioning and like, and other things, you know? So
Carlo, I'm curious, I mean, you're an incredibly accomplished climber, and I don't think of you as being weak when you talk about your not crushing the boards on some of these. Like, you're still extremely physically strong, have extremely strong fingers. When you see guys like this, we can say Noah, but really, if you go on Instagram, you can find a lot of people doing V13s. What do you think is stopping them? Like, if you were them, or if you were giving them advice and they clearly had world-class level strength in the boards, and then they decide, hey, I want to be a world-class rock climber, what would be your advice to them to try to make that transition?
I've been thinking about this a lot recently, because I mean, I find that the board, like especially the TB2 right now, is like a weakness of mine. And I'm like, I think it isolates certain things that I'm trying to get better at in terms of just like power that maybe I don't have in the same capacity that I used to. But I find myself constantly being like, I can go outside and get up a 13 or a 14 in like a session or two still. And, you know, a 15 probably in like 5 sessions. And then I try stuff on the boards that these guys are flashing, or then try things that I just can't touch at all. Like I can't do any of the moves on them. And my question always is like, why aren't these guys climbing more shit? Like, how is this not? And like, when I say things like, I'm not that impressed, is I'm like, I see the discrepancy in my strength on the board and see what a lot of people are capable of doing. And then I'm trying to fill this gap of like, why aren't they all going out and just doing a ton of shit? Because I can still go out and do like decently high level climbs in a relatively small period of time, you know, and I'm not good at, like, I literally just put 3 weeks into like a V9, you know, on the TB2, you know, like, and like it took forever to do it. And I know people that are just like, it's got hundreds of ascents, you know, and I'm just like, what is the difference? I don't know. Like, I know that I can move better on real rock. I know how to position myself better. I know how to make like utilize holds better and features better and maximize friction and maximize all of these other things that have like come over years and years of like climbing outdoors. But there are still climbs that I feel like don't require that much in that way, that are relatively simple. I'd say like Trieste is a good example. Like I tried Trieste a couple years ago, and like I never tried from the stand because I don't consider the stand a boulder problem. And like, sorry to the people that are still sending Trieste stand. I just think it's like a bullshit start. And not to disrespect Paul, like I thought it was a bad choice of start holds, you know, and it just makes more sense to start, you know, on the big jug at the bottom, because it doesn't add that much, you know. And I was trying it from there, and I didn't find it to be that crazy, but I'm still finding like I didn't do it, but I was falling on like the last move every try. But I'm still seeing people that are so much better at board climbing than I am, and so much physically stronger. I feel like taking a long time to do it. And it like, what is missing here? Like, what's going on? You know, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, I'm having a hard time like reconciling with that.
I think there's 2 core elements, because like you, Carlo, I think about this a lot because I'm in a very similar boat. Like I outperform my board climbing by like 3 grades on rock, and I'll be climbing with people and be like, how on earth? Like you can do this. I can't even touch it. And then we go outside and it's like the roles are completely reversed. Like, what is happening here? And I think there's two core components. The first one's easy to talk about, and that's just access. Some people have access to a board and they don't have access to going outside or means or whatever. So I think like that's one of the big things. But when it comes to more what's going on with that person, I want to say a lot of it's mental, because like what you're talking about, Carlo, you're like, okay, I'm really good at rock climbing. And I realize that there's this deficiency or discrepancy in my climbing on the board, like in this particular way. And your reaction to that is, well, I need to spend 3 weeks on this 9, even though I can go climb V15. And then you do it. And I think that says a lot about you. I think that in a nutshell is a huge reason why you're such an accomplished climber. You're trying to improve. And when you find those areas where you're like, oh, wow, I have a lot of room to grow here, you lean into that and then you go do it. And I think that's the opposite reaction that a lot of people have. And so even if you have the means to go rock climbing and you climb really hard on a board and it's flip-flop, and you're like, well, I flash V12 on a board, but every time I go outside, I'm getting housed on V9 tech. Like, this isn't fun for me. I don't want to do it. And then you go back to the board. And so like when the question is asked, like, oh, I have all this strength on the board, like, and I want to apply this to rock climbing, what do I do? The answer is dead simple. Go rock climbing. Like, actually go rock climbing and try to get better at it. And if you did, then you learn how to apply all this huge strength base that you have and the technical expertise on that particular kind of power style. People just don't do it. I've started to think it's just as simple as that.
That sounds right. Yeah. I think a few more, simpler points for in my head that I always think about is like, I think people don't really understand micro beta a lot coming from boards to outdoors. I think micro beta is like huge. I think also the grips, like on the board, all the grips are just comfy, they're flat. But a lot of the time outdoors, you're grabbing like uneven grips, you know? I think that plays a big part in it, just being used to these weird, tiny little differences, but they all add up and kind of turns into one big difference. And I think maybe that's a big part of it too. But I guess that kind of fits into access and going.
Quick break while I tell you about today's sponsor. Thank you to all the patrons who help make this show possible. Join them so you can get episodes early before anyone else, and those episodes are ad-free. As a patron, you also get to submit questions for upcoming guests. The answers to those questions are only available to patrons. Follow the link in the show notes to join now. You also get access to a private Discord where you'll find me and other people who want to go from good to great. Okay, back to the pod. Yeah, as someone who lived in the city and so didn't have as much access to rock, and then had kids and didn't have as much access to rock because of the kids, you get good at what you do. You know, you just get good at what you do. And I'm more like those people who are better at the boards than outdoors. But as soon as I go outdoors, I get better at outdoors. And it was just very apparent. Like, again, you get good at what you do. So if you want to get better at something, you have to go and do it. And this is also why I am really excited to watch Noah Wheeler, Adam Shahar. I don't know, Austin. I mean, all you guys got out a lot, but that was not a knock. Well, no, Austin, you get outside. You spend a ton of time get out.
Yeah, Austin, it'll be cool to see what you do when you finally get outdoors, man.
Yeah, someday. But I do feel like Noah's outdoor era is still in it. I don't want to say it's infancy, but I don't think that he's as good on rock as he is on the boards.
I took Noah outdoor climbing his first time ever.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's amazing.
Did V14, sick. Right? Didn't he do V12 or V13 or something?
I did a V11 in a one attempt earlier than Noah. And then the second day I brought him out, he FA'd a V14 and I never burned him off again.
Second day V14.
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy, again, like what's crazy about him, like he so clearly has this like insane strength capacity, like just the ability to produce force. And even like years ago when I first met Noah and was kind of climbing with him, I'm pretty sure I told this to him. I was like, man, when you figure out how to rock climb, like how to deal with holds that like aren't just in cut, it's over. Like, and I would like, again, not a knock on Noah, like more just kind of my belief in his potential. Like, I think his outdoor era is in a lot of ways still kind of in its infancy. Like, he is climbing a lot more outside and obviously doing really well. I mean, if they had 3 dry hours in Finland, he would have just done Burden. Like, he almost did it while it was wet. He fell off the last move. Like, it's ridiculous. But like, a lot of the stuff he's climbing is still kind of in his style, or in a style where like he maybe has less growth and can more lean on a lot of like his really overpowered attributes. But he's trying more stuff now that I think like he has just an insane capacity to like learn and improve. And he's got the meat suit. Like, he's going to be fine. Like, it's going to be insane. I think he's going to do some really cool things.
He's got the meat suit, I feel like. But also, and then we got to stop being so nice to Noah. We got to move on. He's got the meat suit. But the thing I really think that he also has going for him is that he's also smart and he is open to learning, right? Like, he's clearly open to finding things, just like Carlo, when you didn't do that V9, you're like, well, I should be able to do this. I'm going to put the time in. And I feel like Noah's not just trying to pigeon himself even more into like the highest of highs in his narrow band, which would kind of lower his peak in the long run. So,
but Noah's kind of a baby. He's kind of scaredy cat. I'll end it on that so we can get a little diss in there. Yeah.
Take that.
He's got to figure his skin out, dude. He's got to stop bleeding so much.
Yeah. Stop bleeding, Noah. Stop being such a wuss. But that meat suit, dog, that meat suit. Okay.
I've never heard that term, but yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, man. You got to censor that. Okay. Real quick before we move on to ethics, got to shout out Red Rock's V17 and how it just has been just demolished in the past month or two. Let me see. I had to write it down because it was, let's see. Ryuichi did Return of the Sleepwalker. Zach Gala did Shaolin, and then a week later did Return of the Sleepwalker. Also his first V17s. Good job, Zach. Adam Shahar also did Return of the Sleepwalker, first V17. And Simone did Shaolin, also V17. That's a lot of V17s in a month. What's going on at Red Rocks? Or actually just congrats, you guys. I don't know. Like, those are beautiful boulders. Cool to see them get attention. All those people are amazing climbers that put in the work. And we're all super psyched. And I just wanted to shout them out because they're all great guys.
Yeah. Proud of Adam.
Yeah. Psyched to see all the repeats. Really liked Gala's insight after he sent those two, just kind of on the grades. I'd like to see more openness about that from the athletes at that level. And I think honestly, in particular, Simone, just because he's done so many of them. But I liked Zach's position on it. That was like, look, I did these boulders. They're really hard. Are they 17s? Like, I don't know. He's like, got to climb more. And I think all those people need to kind of have a discussion and really try and figure out where these lines are supposed to live between 15 and 16 and 16 and 17. Like, we've joked about it before, like V16 doesn't mean anything, which is insane. And just kind of keep talking about 17 this, 17 that. And I think it's cool. But at the same time, it seems like everyone's just getting really caught up in a lot of this hype, and the kind of fundamental conversation that needs to happen at the top end of bouldering doesn't necessarily seem to be happening. I'm not in that world, so I don't necessarily know what is or isn't happening, but it does seem fairly rare for a top end athlete like Zach to send at that level and then also kind of have the openness to kind of like provide some of that context and have some of that conversation out loud.
I will say, Adam, there's some comments on a post, like a news post announcing Adam's thing, right? Whatever. Adam commented on the grade in his comments, and he mentioned he thinks it can range from 16.8 to 17.1 for a return. So he was pretty upfront to say it's got he's kind of the first person to put it out there that I feel like that it might not be. Maybe not the first, but like he seemed pretty upfront about it. And he told me, I won't speak for him, but I'll just say he told me that there's a lot of conversations in Red Rocks. They talk about it a lot out there, and whatever you're thinking is probably what they're talking about.
The other, I think, important aspect of that is like, have those boulders gotten easier, like physically like because of changing holds? Because I know that from the first time I tried Sleepwalker, that slot got better by brushing. Like the first year I could barely get my fingers into it. And it was like almost felt like a sloper that you were getting like the tips into. And then I went back a year or two later and like I could fully get my fingers in it and I could one arm lock off on it. Like just one arm lock and just stay there. And I was not able to do that the first year. And I think I got weaker in those 2 years, you know? So, I saw changes in the rock. The same happened with Squoze to the left of it. When that first got put up, that intermediate, used to be like a 1 finger divot basically. And like, it was kind of like more like a sloper. And now it's like, you can basically get 4 fingers on it as an in-cut crimp. And that significantly changed the difficulty of the problem, in my opinion. Just by brushing. And I've got photos of that one. I can like see the change happen, just over time. It's just that soft sandstone changes, you know, it's the same thing happened with Meadowlark. Like Meadowlark went through a weird process where like that side pull was really bad when I did it. Like I could barely get my fingers in the back of it. And then through brushing, it actually turned into a jug and then it broke. The whole thing broke off and then it wasn't doable. And then people started brushing it again and and then it went through a process of getting slightly better. And now it's really, really good again. Like it's actually like, you know, like again. It's like a jug basically because of brushing. And so it's like, depending on when you did it, the grade obviously changed. And honestly, I've seen the way people do the sequence now. And like that sequence wasn't doable when you couldn't heel hook it when I did it because it was too small. And it was like just a much different experience holding on to that grip. Like I couldn't bump all the way through because it was too small. Like it changed the whole boulder, you know? And so I think that there's just not a lot of talk about some of these sandstone problems in particular that have just changed a lot over time. It's not just like one break. And now this is like the point in time where it's the grade has changed or whatever. It's been like up and down changes, you know, and I do think Sleepwalker has changed to some degree from when, you know, Jimmy originally did it. And then, you know, when Daniel put up Return, and I haven't been back in a couple years. So I'd just be curious to know what adjustments have been made on it over that time. And it's kind of the unfortunate aspect of sandstone, you know, and it's an unfortunate conversation that, you know, we think of these things as like unchanging set in stone, but they're not, you know. Fortunately, in granite, it happens less in that way because, like, you know, breaks are a little bit more like significant and then they like solidify over time. But yeah, sandstone's weird in that way.
Maybe on sandstone, we just need like after you send it, you treat it like an FA almost, and you just say, what you know what I mean, like special sandstone rules.
Yeah, but that should be happening every time anybody does a boulder problem. They should be communicating how hard they felt like it was, and I think it. To what you're saying, Carlo, like on the sandstone, it's probably especially important because it's probably you know, it's a different climb, and it's not even chipping. I mean, chipping goes on in Red Rocks, and it shouldn't. Chipping should not be happening anywhere. But in Red Rocks, even on the good stone, like if you're brushing aggressively, especially if not the bristles, but like any other part of the brush is contacting the stone, it's just going to dig the rock out, even on that patinaed stuff. And then once you're through the patina, like game over. Like you're saying, you can essentially carve a jug into the rock with the bristles of a brush. Like it's insane.
Is that true? Even with, I was always taught, well, first of all, boar's hair, right? Like I feel like we've done away with plastic. And I was taught that when you brush, you should be able to just pinch it with your thumb and forefinger. You know, like you're not supposed to grab it and brush. You're supposed to
But that's not what people are doing.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you treat it like that, would you think it would still cause issues? Or is this just unavoidable? Is basically what I'm asking.
If people cared about the rock and took their interaction with it seriously and their ability to kind of help preserve it seriously, it would be dramatically less of a problem than it currently is. I think over time, those kinds of things I think are inevitable on that kind of sandstone, but certainly the way that people treat the rock on the whole, it is unsurprising to me that these things are changing at the rate that they're changing.
Will, what are some of those things that you want people to make sure they're doing that is treating the rock appropriately? You made a list. Will made a list.
I have a long list. We're not going to get to all of it today. We can't
get through it all, but just a few basics, because it was really interesting to hear about squoze, Carlo, because Jimmy put that up, right? Jimmy put that up. I'm remembering correctly. And I believe he put it up as 15, right? I remember seeing Jimmy do this squoze. Jimmy's good at that style. Jimmy's at that boulder. Jimmy's in top form. And to see that get cut down to V13 always was like, I hadn't heard about the hold getting bigger, but I was like, wow, Jimmy usually doesn't miss. That would in that style too, so interesting to hear. But again, on that point, Will, what are just some basics that are treating the rock appropriately?
I'm gonna try not to get too worked up.
Calm down, Will.
Like, just don't fuck up the rock, right?
Dude, yeah, like, give a shit. Like, seriously, it blows me away. Like, almost that we even have to have the conversation. Like, use your damn brains, people. Like, okay.
No, Will, be nice, because people don't always know.
This can extend well beyond rock too, Will. I think all of this,
we're going to talk about rock. If you want to extrapolate it out,
you can put anything else in place of rock and it's probably the same thing.
Maybe a better world. Yeah. But okay. Sandstone, it's soft. It. Sand's in the damn name. Okay. Like, first, the softest bristle you can get away with to brush a hold is what you should be using. And the rest of the brush should never make contact with the rock, whether it's a wooden handle, plastic handle, doesn't matter. Like, and just going boar's hair isn't immediately just like, oh, well, this is safe. I can brush as hard as I want. It's boar's hair. It's soft. That is clearly not true if you've ever seen more than one boar's hair brush in your damn life. Like, there are some where the density of the bristle is packed so tight, like the Faza brushes. You should not be using a Faza brush on Sandstone. You shouldn't. Like, do not do that. They're it's basically a freaking chainsaw to Sandstone. Like, those old school lapis brushes have a much less dense bristle to them. Like, those are great. When you're on granite, use the Faza. It's going to be fine. But like, paying attention to what you're doing, and if you're brushing and you're like, wow, this feels really stiff, like, I wonder if I'm screwing the rock up, you probably are. Like, chill out. And you're not scrubbing it. People make fun of me because I'm like so particular about like how people brush holds, but it's because of this, right? Like, you should be brushing as lightly as you can to achieve the desired effect. If you brush lightly with the appropriate brush frequently, you never really have to press that hard. The holds don't get gunked up. You're not overwearing them. But people nobody pays attention to this stuff. They're just out there. They're caking it in chalk. They're scrubbing like a linoleum floor. Like, you're going to destroying it. You are destroying the stone. Like, I see it in Joe's. I see it on like kind of chalky or granite areas. I have a bunch of photos that I took in Red Rocks where I'm like, this wasn't even chipping, but I see the scars of people brushing, and from like the top of the brush hitting the slot and then making it bigger. That's a big part of I've been looking at that slot on Sleepwalker over the years and just watching it grow. You can see what's happening and feel what's happening on Meadowlark. That changes every season. Like, appreciate the impact that you're having on these spaces. Like, and it extends beyond like, don't have a fire when there's a fire ban, because the state takes that really seriously. Like, don't park in the wrong spots. Don't leave your trash places. Yeah, those are impacts for sure. But you're also having an impact when you're like hyper aggressively brushing the rock, when you're using the wrong brush, when you're caking things in chalk, when you're leaving foot-long tick marks, when you're not wiping your shoes or keeping your pads clean, and then you pick up the particulate and then you grind it all over the wall. Like, I'm going to shut up here in a second. This will be my closing point on that particular thing. But like, everyone talks about how much they love climbing and it's a community and we care about these spaces and all this stuff. And then I go to these areas and I just see people taking a shit on everything, sometimes literally. So like, the discrepancy there is crazy. And I just wish people would take it seriously. Like, and this isn't me. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm just bitching. Like, people also talk about the mentorship gap in climbing and all this stuff. And like, I had people who taught me this stuff and they weren't always the nicest about it, but I learned, and like, that's important. And hopefully everybody listening to this already knows this stuff. There's apparently a really great chance they don't, but take it seriously. Like, anytime you interact with the stone or go to a place, like, you're going to have an impact, and try to reduce it and be polite to the people around you, be polite to the world itself that you're interacting with. Like, it's like people just go out and they're like, oh, sweet, we're in the woods. Nothing matters anymore. Like, the whole social contract is null and void. I'm just going to do whatever the hell I want. And that's bogus.
I just want to take this a step further, Will. And this is something that you mentioned, like, kind of in our chats, through text and stuff like that, is that I like to think that hopefully a lot of the Testpiece listeners are decently clued in on a lot of this stuff. Like, they're more knowledgeable maybe than the general climber base. And for those people listening, like, speak up. Like, if you see these things happening at the boulders, at the crag, that's your opportunity to speak up. We need more general mentorship in the climbing world, as things expand, as things, the community continues to grow. It's a lot of it is based off of ignorance, people not knowing, and it's a great opportunity if you do know to educate people. And I think you can do it in a way that doesn't feel like an attack or, aggressive in any way, but more of just educational, and be like, hey, like, I've been there, I know what you're doing here. And like, I know that you probably just don't know it, but let me help out here. Using this type of brush on this rock is actually going to damage it pretty substantially. So like, my recommendation is to get one of these brushes if you're out climbing here, and please don't use that aggressive of a brush. I think those are the conversations that are fairly easy to have. And I think that in the internet age, we just don't see as much of that, like people just communicating in person. And I'd like to see more of it. And not to steal your point, I think you've made this point to the rest of us in group text and stuff like that. But I think it's an important thing to add on to what you're saying, is that,
oh, totally agree.
Even if you're, somebody who's listening right now that like knows all these things that Will's talking about and is like, yeah, totally. Like, I get that, use this as an opportunity to educate more people about it. Like, the more people that we spread the word to, the better, so that we end up with boulders that last, not just through our generation, but in, all generations after it. So
you can say that Will told me to tell you that you are brushing with the wrong brush. But I do want to like, just cause you started with fire and brimstone. Well, I do want to take a little bit of the thorn out of it, where I think people don't really know. We call it common sense, and you say sandstone is soft. I don't know, man. I when I was 12, I didn't know sandstone was soft. Like, I know it sounds dumb, but an example was you posted that picture of the top of Wind Below, which is this wonderful V8 highball and Joe's, just a beautiful, wonderful climb. And so people have been roping up on it to try to keep safe. And a massive groove has been worn in the top of that boulder. And it's a shame. And yeah, you said, you need to use a rope protector. And it's like, of course, but I'll tell you, Will, I don't string up a ton of ropes. And when I do, they've always been on granite. And when I think about using a rope protector, it was to protect my ass or protect my rope from the granite so I didn't die. And now that I've seen it, I'm going to, not do it. I will say something if I see someone with a rope without a rope protector or something, keep the rock safe on those softer, stone types. But I just want to give people a chance to be ignorant and not just call it common sense, because I'm not sure if, I think of myself as being pretty well traveled, and I know I have holes in my common sense.
I'm sure I do too. But I think one of the key parts is like, if I go to a new area and I have questions, I ask them. You know what I mean? I don't just go nuts. I think having the wherewithal, being humble enough to ask somebody if you're unsure. And then also scenarios like, like the rope on top of Wind Below, like you can see what's happening. And then you just throw your rope into that same groove. Like, what the hell? Like it's clear something negative is happening here. And like, And just the idea that you would just like go ahead and do it and continue to contribute to it without like taking a second thought or asking somebody or trying to figure something out. And I don't want to get too far away from Carlo's point too, because I think having these conversations in person is really critical. Bitching on the internet is the worst thing you could do. I've seen people do this like within 8 hours. Like I'll be at a crag, I'll see someone mad at somebody about something that they're doing, and then I'll go home and I'll open up the gram, and it's some being like, oh, I saw somebody today doing X, Y, and Z. Like, this is bad. Like, you shouldn't do it, whatever. Like, you didn't say anything to that person. You had every opportunity to do so. And I'm getting kind of sick of the kind of internet version of this on social media, where everyone's just dogpiling everyone that they think is potentially done something ethically dubious. And sometimes those people are actually guilty of those things. But I think in a lot of instances, the blame is misplaced. And also people have already ignored the opportunity to do something productive. And then they just want to get on the internet and yell at people for God knows what reason. But we got to start talking to each other. Like, it's insane. I've made an effort to speak up. Like, over the last couple of years, I'm a pretty introverted guy. I don't like doing it. Nobody likes conflict, but we got to start doing something about this, because it's only getting worse. And I just see more and more kind of internet activism about it that really is going nowhere.
I totally agree with that, Will. And I definitely think people should, take that to heart. But I also think, I do think, just between us, like, if you've got a problem with something, it's probably Austin's fault. So
yes, Austin should be canceled.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Yep. You know what? I agree.
Those problems in Red Rocks, they land squarely on your shoulders, because you were also in America at the time. Yeah. Well, I just want to foreshadow, or not foreshadow, but tee it up for you a little bit, Austin. Some of this conversation is, there were a lot of comments on these posts of some of the V17 sends calling out some of the timing around rain and pads. And then the blame was laid squarely on Austin's shoulders. It was in fact his fault that he did not stop these pretend tragedies from happening. So, Austin, are you canceled? Are you allowed to be here right now?
Defend yourself.
I don't know. Yeah, let me defend myself. The public defense. Wait, before I say anything, I just want to be like, I know for a fact, 100%, I can't speak for anyone else, but I know Adam did it in the best way possible. So no wet rock from Adams. I don't want it. So anyways, yeah. Right. So whatever. So, I'm going to say names, because is that cool? You think I can say names?
You can say names if you want to.
Okay.
You're the one who's canceled. You can do it now.
Yeah. Right. Whatever. The people were all mad on Simone Lorenzi's post. They were saying he did it like a day after rain or something. And I commented on his post. I was like, oh, congrats. Because I live in New York. I don't know when it rains in Vegas. I'm just happy to see something get done. Right. And then I go on Reddit, or no, I didn't even go on Reddit. Someone sent me a screenshot of Reddit listing out people in the comments that congratulated Simone, and they were like, these people are at fault. They were like less mad at Simone and more mad at us. And then I defended I read it. I was like, I don't want to use Reddit that much, but I was like, oh, I guess I should probably say something. I was like, oh yeah, that I don't condone climbing on wet sandstone. Obviously, if I know it's wet, I'm not going to congratulate somebody for doing something wrong, but I either trust Simone that it wasn't wet, or trust this random person on Reddit saying it was wet. So there's no winning. So I was like, yeah, I don't condone it. And they wanted me to delete my comments, and I was like, I'm not going to delete my comments. That's just how it is. I'm sorry. And meanwhile, they're doing it from an anonymous account. I messaged them privately. I said, hey, I'm open to talk about this with you. I'm more than happy to have a conversation, but message me on Instagram, because I'm not into this anonymous thing. And they messaged me the whole paragraph, blah, blah, like, hey, man, I'm not trying to be a dick. And then at the end, they were like, I'd rather talk here. So that's it. That's all for me. Yeah, that was a bad defense on my end, but that was the story.
Shouldn't wait those comments.
Okay.
Austin, you made it. You made it, dude. You're a well known enough climber now to just start getting random hate for things that you had nothing to do with, you know? So congrats,
I was in the
dude,
list
you
of
made it.
Adam Ondra, Noah Wheeler, you know, and then they said Austin Hoyt, and I was like, not a bad list to be a part of.
Well, dude, the thing that's been particularly annoying me about the situation, and particularly like Simone Mejdi and Jules, who've been out here in the U.S., people talking about, like these foreign climbers coming in, they need to educate themselves and like all this crap. I'm like, dude, really nice guys. I didn't actually go out climbing with them, but like, great dude. I'm 100% sure that like if out at the South Platte, the locals who were out there with them, if they had been like, hey, don't make a fire, like there's a fire ban, this place has been torched, we don't do fires here, they would have just not done it. Like that, to me, that's not on those guys. That's on the locals who went out there with them and didn't say anything. Same thing with the Red Rocks. Like, do you think Simone was by himself out there? He was not. We have photos to prove it. Like, to me, it's like it's the people who were there who had an opportunity to have that conversation with him or anybody about that behavior that could have actually made a change. This whole like after the fact dogpiling on the internet anonymously is not going to change anybody's behavior. Like the reality is that one, Simone is not the 50th person to stash pads in that canyon. Probably what made him feel okay leaving his pad there was the stack over there that he left it on. You know, is that on Simone? Like, and they're from Europe. The pad stashing in Europe is out of control. Like, you think it's bad here in the US, like you have no idea. So the idea that they would just come and know that, especially when they're standing there looking at a pile of other pads, and then also like, it doesn't rain everywhere in Red Rocks at the same time. It can start drizzling and you're like, shit. And then you like do the boulder and then it's raining and then you post that you sent on that day and then everyone thinks that you're the bad guy. Like, I don't know, man.
That was my kind of point to that whole thing too, is that like in Red Rocks, I've had it fully dump it at Craft and then not rain at all at Black Velvet. And so like, it's a nuanced conversation, you know, like obviously I think someone should keep having that conversation, but to like just blanket attack people on the internet and just seems a little bit, you know, just, I mean, if you're like, I was out there and it was raining on the boulder and they still were climbing on it, then like that's one hand to have like a firsthand account. But then it's like, I hope that you, instead of ranting about it on the internet, just like talk to those guys. You know what I mean? Like it seems a way more effective approach than to just like go onto the internet about it. So
if we knew that it was soaked when they did the boulder, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We would be like, what you guys did is wrong, because it is wrong. But we don't know. So there's no way to know. At least there's no way for me to know. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Just to, I don't know, play a little, I don't know if this is devil's advocate, but Will, let's say you are a local climber there, but you're like a V3 climber. And yes, you're experienced. You've been doing it forever, but you're not a V17 climber. And you see Simone Lorenzi, one of the most accomplished outdoor climbers in the world. And he's out there and you like say something to him, you know, hey, just want you to know, like it rained yesterday. Like, just want you to be careful. Maybe in Simone's case, this wouldn't apply. More likely it's some guy who is young, climbing V11, thinks they're, you know, the God's gift to earth. And they go, oh, okay, old man, like, you go climb on your V2. I know what I'm doing here. You know, there's definitely like, sometimes it's hard to tell people, even if you have that knowledge, they don't see you as a equal, and they won't listen to you. And I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just like, you know, sometimes it's hard to cross that barrier.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm still saying you should do it.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
The world would be a better place in general if more people stepped up and had those conversations like in person, you know? Like I think this idea that we're going to achieve something by like just venting everything on the internet as like a way of like fixing problems, is just, it's not the right approach.
Isn't that what we're doing, Carlo? Are we not doing that right now? I just want to call us.
We're having a conversation with all of us, So
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that I really want to point out, I think is super important that Austin pointed out too, and Carl, is each place is different, or each moment in time is different. This is where you have to use common sense per Will is, just because it's raining or just because it rained yesterday does not mean that there is no dry stone within the next 20 miles around you. And you have to make that assessment. And then I think hearing the discussions that we have about how to make that assessment, how to understand, and there's some guides out there. Like if you dig down and it's just soaked underneath the boulder, you can kind of intuit that, hey, maybe there was a lot more water than it seems. And, and because there's other times where you're in Colorado, you're climbing, it dumps, and then you climb again 5 minutes after and the conditions are perfect. It's actually wonderful, and that's okay. And so hearing these conversations, using common sense, and saying something when you see something, all really important.
Yeah. I mean, the wet rock thing is, like a lot of these ethical things, is nuanced. And in particular with the wet rock, like I see a lot of people who are like, yeah, like absolutely not on sandstone, and then all these rules. And it's like, yes, like I'm much more on board with like those kind of rules, particularly for sandstone, because it reacts the most drastically to liquid. Because sometimes it's depending on the climate, like it can condensate in a way where like it didn't actually precipitate and you still shouldn't climb. Like that happens in Arkansas, southeast. And then, but then at the same time, I see people like, oh, well, you can go climb with this wet because it's granite, or well, oh, but it's like this, it's the Nuttall sandstone in the New River Gorge, like it's fine. That's also not true. Like it's more true, but there are still particular features, particular types of granite, like in things where like, no, you really should like treat it like sandstone in that regard, because the water weakens everything. And if there's like those little fracture lines and little flakes, even if it's granite and it's wet back there, they're going to break it. So it's not as simple as, oh, sandstone's the only rock to worry about, desert sandstone. It always has to be 3 days. You're always good on granite. There is no always with any of this stuff. Like you shouldn't climb on wet rock.
Let's end it there. Although good news, Austin, on the process, that crimp is all glue, so you're good to go.
It's not rock, it's glue. Yeah,
you can just
good.
climb on that glue, dog.
Yeah.
There's no wet glue rule.
No wet glue.
You know what's funny? Before we move on, wait, really quickly. Before we move on, the funniest thing ever to me is in the Northeast.
Oh, Austin.
Oh, he's skipping.
He got.
My mom just started calling me.
Your mom.
Well, your family cares about you, dude? What's going on?
What the heck?
They're probably worried about you, dude. They're like,
well, anyways, what I was going to say was
okay.
In the Northeast, no one cares about climbing a wet rock. Like, it's not a thing. Everyone climbs when it's like, it's just weird to me how it's different in different, or it's not weird, but it's funny how it's different in different parts of the country.
It's the same in Scandinavia that I've found, like in Norway, people are just constantly climbing. Like you wouldn't climb on anything because it's wet all the time. Sweden, same deal. Like, and like, I mean, I dealt with this years ago, but in Sweden, like it was the local ethic that they were just like flaming the rock. Like they would just torch the rock to dry it. Cause they were just like, yeah, we don't really tell anybody that we do it, but that's all we do because we wouldn't climb on anything because it's constantly seeping. And so we just like torch it, climb on it, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I got in trouble for putting it in a video, but I was also kind of like, yo, I was literally with the locals doing, like, it wasn't even my torch. It was like the local guys, like, so, I felt bad about it because obviously I didn't want to like spread this technique to like places where it's not, supposed to be used. But yeah, it's true. It is very different in different areas. But I think just understanding what the local ethics are is super important. So.
And I think ethics evolve over time as there's places that see more traffic. And Will, in your list of PSAs, or maybe even you said this here, be careful where you park. I hear you. Really important. I got to tell you, some of the places that I used to go to, it was like you're the only car, there is no parking area. Like, this is just like, you gotta just pull off the side of the road. Like, there was even a designated parking. And then when you get more traffic, so this is part of the growth of our sport, and part of the responsibility we have even to do that mentorship is maybe it needs more than even it used to, which is, you know, and ethics may evolve where maybe blowtorch was okay. And then if everyone is doing it and it's done for 50 years and blowtorches get stronger, not okay. But again, you got to be open-minded, use common sense, and talk to the locals.
Yeah. Well, and to the old heads, and like this has happened to me before too, exactly as you said, we're like, there are areas where you can operate in a certain way, and then all of a sudden things change. There are more people or something. And then you get people who are used to going there in a certain way, and then they're all aggravated that they can't do that. And it's like, you got to get with the program. Like, just because you were able to park there or were able to stash pads before and you felt like, and now it's a thing, like, don't change your behavior. Like, it's like you said, it's a part of the sport growing. And if you don't want to be around people, go somewhere else.
I have a great example of this actually. When Aiden showed up in the Valley last year, the first conversation that I had with him when he came, the first thing he asked me, or not the first thing, but like very quickly, was what are the ethics here? Like, what am I allowed to do? What are the development ethics? Can I use a wire brush? Is it okay to clean stuff on or off of a rope? Like, he literally just went through the list of like, hey, what are the rules that I should be playing by if I want to climb here, if I want to develop new boulders here, like, you know, kind of one of the rules, you know? And it was just awesome to have somebody who just immediately came out and just asked for it, you know, like, and I was pretty clear, like some things I was like, hey, you should talk to Randy about this too, because, you know, he's climbed here a lot as well, or things that maybe I don't have a fully clear like picture of, but, you know, at least him coming to somebody who's spent a lot of time developing there and is considered one of the more local people, that that's kind of the right approach, you know? And so respect to Aiden for doing that. And I hope by sharing that story, it provides a nice example for what people can do when they go to new areas, whether they're a pro or not, you know?
Great example. I also want to point out, this just came to mind, is now we have these online guidebooks often, like Kaya. And I know that the way those work is that they often have people who kind of oversee the area or the guidebook for that area. And I bring that up because, you know, not everyone has necessarily a Carlo to go to, you know, although I have a hunch if you texted any one of us or Instagram any one of us about an area we knew, we will tell you. But there also may be ways now to reach out to someone who knows those ethics very easily, you know, even in kind of far-flung places. If there's a guidebook, you got a resource to go ask someone about what those ethics might be. So good example.
Can I end real quick? Sorry.
Okay.
I just want to say, if anyone ever wants to have a conversation with me about anything like this, message me on Instagram. I respond to everything, and I would much rather do it like that than anonymously on Reddit or a dog pile or in the comments or something. So just message me. I'm always willing to talk.
Ooh, Austin, I got bad news for you. Your Instagram account was revoked.
I'm done.
You are. It is over. You. This is your last episode.
I was going to recommend showing up at your house, dude. I feel like that's the approach that we're really trying to push here. Like,
okay, guys. Let's move on from the ethics segment. There's more of this episode. Hop on over to Patreon to join and listen to the entire thing. You also get the episodes early, before anyone else, and they're ad-free. Not sure? Try a free 7-day trial. I gotta tell you that the rest of this particular Good Temps episode is so good and so funny. If you've been on the fence before, now is your time to go and do a 7-day free trial for this episode. You can cancel right away if you want, and I promise you will love this extended cut.